Okay, welcome back to Guitars and Cars. We're back working on the 2012 BMW X3 with 3.0 liter 6-cylinder. Got a set of lug bolts that just came in. Missing a few of those. Take care of that after a while. Got a little oil leak over on the passenger side, so I've got valve cover gaskets as well as some other gaskets that might be needed here for the oil cooler and such. So, and then what I was waiting for is the crank sensor, which looks pretty much the same as the old one. I thought maybe it was damaged, but I'm just gonna have to figure out how it's supposed to seat in there and go with that. So we'll be working on that. Okay, so make a little camera adjustment so you guys can see down in there. So I took this sensor and this new sensor, plugged the plug back into it. It's very, very snug, so I don't know why the old one didn't fit. Maybe somebody just didn't think to push it in far enough, but all it is it just has a little nub right there. You push it down on the nub and it's supposed to hold it. So there's no real clasp or clip or anything. It just kind of holds itself in there. So, but it should be fine. We're gonna go with that. And it's got a special star head, whatever the hell you call it, Torx head bolt that goes in there to secure it. So put that in there. Heard some people talking about, or was reading about some people talking about you can reach this from the bottom. And I don't think I want to do that. That'd be doable, but it's not bad from up here. So once you get to it, I can't really see what I'm doing actually, so I have no idea if I'm hitting a hole or what. There it is, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Let me try that again. Oh, the hole's higher. Reach a little bit higher. Let's see what that does. Wow. It's fairly difficult to deal with. It'll be alright though. I just can't see it, that's the problem. I'm trying to get my hand in there, but I can't see what I'm doing. There it is. I think. Yeah, there we go. Right now she's in. Okay. So that is just the crank sensor. And then, like when I took this all apart, I kind of noticed this is flopping around in here. I have no idea where this mounts, maybe underneath the intake or something, but there's not a lot of play on it. And then this vacuum line goes to something, not sure what. Something on the intake, I would assume. There's lots of little connectors and stuff that kind of tedious to deal with. And then somebody wired this. You can see this. Somebody kind of wired this, so I'll just have to repair that wire. I don't know why they did that. They thought maybe they had to. I have no idea. Can't even guess. But anyway, I can fix all that. It's like a vent tube coming off the trans. That looks normal, I guess. Yeah, just lots of little connectors and stuff. And somebody, it looks like somebody was hacking on the intake tube here. Yeah, I don't know who was in here, but I'm guessing they were drinking. Just by looking at it. They were definitely throwing back a few, if I had to guess. So this is kind of a mess down here, so just have to take some time and get it cleaned up, figure out how it's supposed to be situated and all that fun stuff. Probably goes somewhere, something like this, attached to that intake, I imagine. So just have to figure out where it all goes, and I think something was pinched. You can see this. I think this was actually pinched between the intake ports and the intake manifold, so that probably wasn't helping the situation either. You know, getting wiring and shit pinched in between the intake manifold. So yeah, some fun times down here, baby. Yeah, so hopefully once I get all this squared away, this thing will run a lot nicer, like it's supposed to. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get to plugging away on some of this and see what we can get. Okay, so on this wiring splice, I've got these are basically low voltage connectors with some like waterproof goo inside them. So when this is not really the actual application that should be used, but these will work. You stick these on here, and there's some, I guess, kind of like flux in there that just kind of floods the wire with waterproof like gooey stuff. Then you crimp it down, and that holds the wire. Basically, it was electrical taped and twisted together before, so not good. That should be fine. I'll put a little electrical tape on there, and that will be good to go. Okay, next I think I'm going to pull the fuel rail off, because that seems to be the easiest way to get the head gasket off. And always a good precaution, stick some rags in the intake holes so you don't drop something in the cylinder. You never know, something could slip past the valve and go right into the cylinder, and then you're kind of screwed at that point. So anyway, fuel rail should be loose. Just kind of gently pop these up. The injectors should pop out. Yeah, gently. Have to be real gentle. Maybe a little less gentle. I don't want to get too crazy with it. Yeah, they're not wanting to pop out, are they? There's probably a trick to it that I'm not aware of. But that's how it goes. Are they coming? Yeah, I think they are. You're just being stubborn. Just helping out a little bit. That's not really a good way to pry on it. Nope. That's why I end up sore after doing these jobs. Sit here and pry on this thing for 20 minutes. So anyway, I'll work on this, get the fuel rail off, and then I can continue pulling the valve cover and get some gaskets on it, because there is an actuator here with the seal that's leaking. We'll have a new seal for that, and then the entire valve cover. See what else we might need. Should be good. What the hell? I'm not in love with the fact that this connects through Wi-Fi. I don't know what it's doing. Is the battery dead? It's really not. Can't be dead already.
Alright, we are back working on the 2012 BMW X3, and I made a few mistakes. I ended up getting a bolt stuck in the back against the firewall. Tried for 2 or 3 hours to get that bolt out of there, and finally just ended up breaking the valve cover. And of course, once I broke the valve cover, it was easy to get off. Bolt came right out. Ordered the valve cover, it just showed up, so we've got a nice, shiny, brand new valve cover ready to go. Let's see what else is happening here. So I'm getting ready to do an oil change on it. I've just been doing some research. I'm not 100% familiar with how to work on these cars. Everything's a little bit different than like an American car. So I'm just kind of trying to familiarize myself. Like this valve train has a sensor and an actuator that controls valve lift, which is interesting. So I guess it's a kind of a performance feature. And apparently these sensors are known to go bad, and you gotta pull the valve cover off to do it. But I don't think I'm gonna replace that sensor because I don't have any particular reason to, other than people saying the sensor goes bad. But nothing wrong with preventative maintenance, but I'm already putting quite a bit of, effort into this. With the crankshaft sensor down there, found the oil pressure sensor is broken. Had some bad wiring. I've had to pull a lot of all I got to remember what goes where. But so far everything's looking good. Getting ready to go back on with the valve cover, and then the intake. Try to get all this wiring situated and try to get it organized and looking good and working good. And there's lots of, cable trays and little management systems and stuff. It's just kind of, it's pretty, what do I want to say, you gotta have a little finesse working on these. You definitely don't want to go in here and start forcing stuff and kind of, over tightening and forcing, pushing here and pushing there and pulling on stuff. You gotta kind of be gentle and thoughtful about what you're doing when you put this stuff together. So, if you want it to run right and be right and be reliable, so that's where we're at, and we're gonna get started on it.
Okay, so clean up the first little bit there. There it is. Okay. No cooperation. How do you can't tell. Or something here on you. Maybe. Jesus. Wow. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh, fuck. Wow. So, we're good. We're good, man. Here we go. Phew. Nope, that's the right size.
one right there, I think. Pretty sure one is right there. Let's see. So one missing. That corner here. Just pop it out. Just pop right in. Right here. Can't see it, but I can feel it. So there it goes. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go, here. Let's go, oh, right that way. Here. Okay. And it's back. Right here. Okay, good. We'll take a look. Now we'll get snugged up good. That's good. Right there. Looking good. Now we got this crazy wiring down here. Fortunately, I didn't have to pull all this wiring apart, so that'll get some of this back together. Shouldn't be too bad. Just have to. Alright, so valve cover's on. Now I just have a whole bunch of wiring and a couple other. I got this actuator to put in, this sensor wire here, all the coils. I checked the plugs. They all look pretty good. Might be getting close to due for replacement, but I'm just not going to worry about that right now. Maybe see how it runs. If it runs rough or something, maybe we'll look at it. But right now, I'm just going to be satisfied with the situation as it is. So, but yeah, all this wiring is, just looks like it'll go together just fine. So we've got our valve lift. Wait, that's not the right sensor for that. Here we go. This one. So apparently these get oil in them and then they cause problems, but this one looks fine. So we'll go with it. Yeah, it's fine. And then we got our ground wires. Obviously, the fuel rail with our injectors are going to go in here. If I get this thing hung up somehow. What the heck are we hung up on? There we go. Thank you. Set him over there for now. Yeah, this ought to go back together just fine. We're looking good. We're looking good. Just kind of try to situate this wiring where it's going to be happy. You know, we don't want to cause any crazy issues. Coil packs. So I can tell somebody has been in here in the recent past and working on this. We got a mix of coil packs and a mix of spark plugs, but like I said, we're gonna go with it for now. I'm just gonna use a little bit of dielectric grease on the end of these, just a smidge on each one to keep things lubed up. And one more. That's good. These coil packs are actually pretty cool the way they go together. And a lot of the sensors are actually pretty neat on this car. The way they plug in. because they've got little lever actuators that kind of seat the plugs. Pretty cool. I like that. A lot of them are really easy to deal with and work with, so definitely appreciate that situation. And I was looking, it looks like we've got new struts on this car, fairly new, so that's awesome. Somebody's done some decent maintenance on it at some point, so that's good. Alright, so we can get our little actuator here on. And the way... Okay, I guess... Let me see here. I think what we want to do... So we want to take a T25 Torx and spin it until it seats. And then we got a bolt that'll go on the bottom, down below, and then 2 bolts here. Learned a few tips and tricks along the way here, stuff I normally wouldn't even think about. Because, like I said, I've never dealt with this vehicle before, or this engine, so it's all new to me. It's all new to me, and so it's kind of a learning experience. But as long as you don't do anything stupid, it's actually pretty easy to work on. Oh, I should have done that before I should have screwed that in before I put the damn... See what I mean? I did something stupid. I was too busy yapping to remember. To put those bolts in before I put the coil packs in. It's much easier. The coil packs are directly in the way, so if you put these bolts in first, it'll make life a lot better. Okay, snug them up a smidge. I need to go too crazy. Next one. Okay, good. And there's nothing else needed before we go back on with the coil packs. Good. Good. Alright, so that's looking okay. Trying to see if there's anything else. Let's see if I can remember what goes where here. That all goes there. And this will drop down. So we want that to go under or... Try to get a better camera angle there. Starting to sweat all over this motor. All right. So basically, we're just situating wiring. Here is all we're doing. Got a couple of ground wires I need to get on there. I don't know where this one's.